I am Anthea Armar. I am a coach, I am a trainer, and I'm also a speaker. And I am so glad to be here today to talk to you. If you're watching this live or if you're going to be watching this on replay, you can do #replay. But just let me know where in the world you are calling from, or you are dialing in from, so to speak. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. So what I wanted to do today was take you through a entertaining but valuable story or a talk around how you can create life through fear. So life is for living, life is for enjoying, and I want to kind of give you a sense of what is possible even if you are living in fear. So what I wanted to do first, before I get to give you all of the good stuff, is to talk about me. Right? So I'm gonna give you this notion and the strategies that you can use to just live life fearlessly. But I just want to kind of give you an insight into my amazing life. So my amazing life started when I was probably around 17 years old. I was considering what to do for university, and I was looking into different universities and also different subjects. And one of the things that I did is I came across an advertisement for holiday camp, like volunteering at summer camp in the United States. And you know, that for me was just like, oh my gosh, this sounds like such a great opportunity. I've seen so many American movies and I've always just kind of loved that vibe. It's going to be in a place that's warmer than where I am in London, so that's always a bonus. And so yeah, it was really about, you know, just deciding that a change of scenery would be good for me. Having lots of problems at home, you know, issues with the family, it just felt like a really good place to kind of start anew. And so volunteering at summer camp was the most amazing experience I had. All of those fears that I had around, you know, I had phobias of bugs. So it's like, what are the bugs going to be like? Is there going to be someone around who can protect me? I wonder what the people are going to be like. I felt quite shy at the time, so I was wondering, how am I going to communicate with people? And so, yeah, it was just everything that I imagined, or the opposite of what I imagined. It was just a lot of fun, a lot of interesting people. We had a lot of fun as ourselves, as the volunteers, and we had fun being with the people who came to the summer camp. And so I had so much fun that summer, I decided to actually stay and go to university. And so that was a lot of fun. It was, again, literally just like the movies. I got into a sorority, and it was like just establishing myself and coming into myself and having a whole bunch of friends that, you know, really cared for me and really supported me. We had lots of fun. I studied drama, and I also enjoyed doing dance. You know, I was able to perform on stages within the university and also in local competitions. And I can just hear the noise. I can hear the applause. I can just hear, you know, just the fun element of that life. And, you know, it ended up being quite cliche. I met my future husband at university, and I've always loved the American accent, so that really worked for me. And it was just, you know, just everything I could have dreamed of. We went on, we had a family, we had a business together, we travelled, we spent time with friends, we had really great hobbies, and we just really, really enjoyed life. Really enjoyed life. And so when I think back, I'm like, wow, because I made that decision to go at age of 17, my life has just been amazing. However, I woke up. That was not a life that I actually lived. It was a life that I imagined and wished that I lived, because I was so stuck in that fear, the fear of what will happen if, what's going to happen, how do I need to do things, where will I go, what will I do? I got so caught up in all of these questions, it essentially disabled me in fear. That fear prevented me from putting in that application to go to summer camp. that fear prevented me from putting in an application to go to university in the States. And so all those thoughts that were in my head that were convincing me that it's not because it's too scary, but it's because it's protecting me. It's safe where I am. It's comfortable where I am. I have family here. I have friends here. I have a roof over my head. I know exactly what's going to happen because I'm safe. I'm comfortable. And so I admitted it. I said, that's fine, you know, it's right. There's probably going to be a lot of problems. So maybe I shouldn't go. You know, maybe I should just stay. Maybe I should find something to do here. Because at least that way I'm comfortable and I'm safe. And these thoughts made me believe that I was average, that I didn't deserve to have that life that I just told you about, because it wasn't safe and it couldn't be guaranteed. So I stayed where I was. And when I stayed where I was, I ended up choosing to go to university based on pressure. You know, expectations from other people, specifically my mum, around what am I going to do? Am I going to work? Am I going to go to university? And I decided that I was going to go to university. Working didn't work for me, you know, so I went to university and I was there for 5 years. 5 long years. And the reason I was there for so long is because it wasn't what I wanted to do. It just happened to be what I chose. And so I changed universities, I changed subjects, I deferred a year. I just did so many different things because it was all the things I didn't want to do. I suffered depression, I suffered suicidal thoughts, I had so many more issues with my family, issues with friends that I had made while I was there, and issues with friends that I had back home. It just was a really awful 5 years. And so I remember sitting down in my mum's bedroom, this was in 2005, and she'd given me the envelope for my degree. You know, this is where I'm going to get the results and find out what is it I got. You know, does this now mean that I get to have a career because I've got a degree? And I opened up the letter and looked at the results, and I thought, okay, these look pretty decent. I think that's about all right. And then I looked down at the bottom and I noticed that it was first degree honours. So I'd got a first. And it was so interesting because I wasn't even happy. I actually wasn't happy. I was actually relieved. I was relieved that I'd got this degree, that I'd met my mum's expectations, and I felt free in that moment, free to know that I've done this thing now. It's not what I wanted to do. It wasn't comfortable. It wasn't easy, but at least I've done it. And so sacrificing the amazing life that I could have had with this just made it all the more worthwhile. So I'd gone downstairs and I told my mum about it, and I said, look, here, have a look. So she had a look at the results, and she was dancing and she was so happy, and I was just completely indifferent. And I said, here's your degree. And she just looked at me confused. She was like, what do you mean? I said, here is your degree. I didn't enjoy that. And don't ask me to do anything like that again. Because in that moment, I realised that I had chosen to create a life because of fear. Fear didn't allow me to create the life I really wanted, that amazing life that I told you about. I created this life, the life where I'm doing things that I don't necessarily want to do because I'm safe, I'm comfortable, I'm average. And that's okay. But it's not what I wanted. And so 5-6 years later, I remember it just felt like everything was always going wrong. One bad thing after another. It just was relentless, absolutely relentless. And, you know, things would start to happen for me and I'd start to feel comfortable and confident in a new level of good things. And then I'd come crashing down again. And I remember there was this one year, this was about 8 years ago now, and it was a year where I literally lost my family. We had massive fallings out and I was completely isolated from all of them. So I'd lost my family. I then lost my home. I was pretty much 1 week away from being homeless. And then I managed to find an apartment to rent. And so, if that couldn't have been worse, I then lost my job. And so I had the additional worry of, how am I going to keep this new roof over my head? I don't even have a family to rely on. And in that same apartment that I was living in, we had no heating. So I had to go through a winter with no heating. And so one bad thing after another, one bad thing after another. And again, it was like, this is it. This is the life that I've chosen to live, where things that are bad just keep happening. But interestingly, that was also a turning point for me, because what had happened is I kept failing at things. I kept failing at the things that I kept thinking that I wanted to do. And so losing my family and being isolated from them, losing my home and losing this job, it forced me to do things that I wouldn't have done for myself if I didn't get pushed into that position. You know, I needed to have that complete independence. I needed to be able to keep a roof over my head, but I got comfortable where I was. I was comfortable in the job that I was doing, but it wasn't stretching me. And so I wasn't really able to do the things that I wanted to do. I wasn't fulfilling my purpose. I wasn't actually actively looking at doing something that I really enjoyed doing. And so I just started to look at things differently and realise that I didn't create the amazing life that I once thought of. And I'm allowing life to just happen to me. But really, I know what it is that I'm supposed to be doing. Whatever happened, I kept failing. It kept bringing me closer to my purpose. I realised in those moments that it was life happening for me, not to me. Our purpose is always the guiding point in which we live our lives. And so what happens is, whatever we end up doing, we always get guided back to that place. Now, if you feel like you're having so many challenges in your life, it's possibly because you're not fulfilling your purpose. And it's life's way of saying you need to get back on track. And so one of the things that happened to me last year is I came to a point where so many things were happening. So many things felt like they were starting to work in my favour. And I was starting to take a deeper look into myself. You know, what life could I have had if I'd chosen not to let fear detract me? Right? I was diverted. I wasn't cut off. I was always going to get to the destination I wanted to, even if it's not in the way that I imagined. And so last year I really took some time out to think, what life would I want? What does it look like? What does it feel like? Who is around? Who do I need to be in order to have the kind of life that I really, really want? And so I did a lot of soul searching, and I realised how many stories I've told myself over the years. I'm not good enough. I could never do that. Oh, that sounds scary. Maybe you should just do this instead. You're not very good at this, are you? So many stories, so many beliefs that just continue to pile up and make me think that I can't do the things that I was actually born to do. And so when I started to become more aligned to my purpose, I really realised that life became easier. It wasn't harder. It was actually a lot easier, because I now had control of the life I wanted to create, and it was a life I wanted to create for myself, not a life that I had to live. And so an example of this is last year I spent most of the year coaching for weight loss. I'd lost 50 pounds about 10 years ago now, and I've managed to keep that weight off. And so I thought I was the best person to be able to help other people to, you know, to have those kind of successes for themselves. But it wasn't my purpose. It wasn't the thing that I really, really wanted to be doing. And so the whole year I fought to keep this idea that this is the best way for me to serve. This is the best way for me to have the kind of life that I really, really want. And nothing worked. I had one challenge after another, one challenge after another. And it took me back to that time where I lost all of those things just in a single year. No family, no home, no job, and having to rebuild all of those things. And so this time I realised that the fear is not trying to protect me, it's trying to prevent me. Prevent me from doing the thing that I know that I was born to do. Live the life that I know that I deserve to have. And so it all starts with what your purpose is. Once you figure that out, why are you here? Why were you born? How do you contribute to the world? How do you serve? What is it you want to do? Who is it you want to be? And by taking that time to really think about those things, that purpose becomes greater than your fear. It becomes greater than your comfort. It becomes greater than all of the what ifs and the excuses that you have as to why you can't do something. Given the idea that whatever happens in your life, you will continue to fail and continue to go through challenging experiences until you take the lesson that you need to be going towards your purpose, or that you are not fulfilling it in the first place. And so by changing what I'm doing in my life, deciding that it's okay to not want to keep doing this thing, I can help people lose weight, but that's not my purpose. My purpose is to inspire, it's to empower people to, get out of their heads and get into action and make changes to their lives so that they can create success in both their life and their business, even if they're afraid. Because what I've done and what I've shared with you so far is that the amazing life that I wanted to have and the life that I ended up having, I created. I created because I didn't pursue the things that I wanted to do. And so I had challenge after challenge, after challenge after challenge, which got me to the point that I realised that I have to do something differently. The life that I really want to live is something I definitely deserve. And so what do I need to do to have that? The main idea is that you just need to decide. Decide what it is that you want. Decide that whatever your mind tells you is not possible, it's the opposite. Choose not to believe the thoughts that you have, because they think that they're trying to protect you, but they're just trying to prevent you. Prevent you from happiness, prevent you from joy, prevent you from service, prevent you from just being alive and enjoying everything that you do. Every day that you wake up, you should want to start your day because you're so excited about the life that you are living. Hand on heart, if you were to answer this question, do you absolutely enjoy your life as it is now? What would you say? Let me know in the comments. Most people who don't enjoy their life are usually not living a life that's theirs. We're living based on other people's expectations. We're living a life based on other people's perceptions, what other people want for us, or what we think we want for ourselves, and the limited, comforting, safe space that keeps us in. But we are powerful beyond measure. We are more than we could ever believe we can be. But we have to decide that life can be created. Let's create a life that we want to live rather than just exist. And so I've been using this quote recently where I talk about fear being selfishness visualized in thought. So knowing that life is not just about us, it's about the inspiration we bring to other people. It's about the challenges that we face in our life that help us to overcome and help others to overcome. It's about the idea of possibility. What could be possible if I just believed in myself? What could be possible if I didn't allow fear to drive my decisions? What could be possible if I chose to create and live the life that I really, really wanted? And so what I want to leave you with today is that whatever happens, the thoughts that you have that are based on maybe you should, maybe you shouldn't, it's best if you don't, you're not good enough, all of those thoughts are untrue. And know that whatever happens, you are going to create your life anyway. So why not create the life that you want, even through the fear? Use the fear as your compass, as your direction. If it tells you you can't, then you know that you can. Stay focused on what it is that you want to be able to do, and it will happen. So I hope you have enjoyed this talk today, and I hope that you're going to feel empowered and inspired to go and create the life that you really, really want to live. Because the life that you truly desire is only a mindset shift away. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comments, and I wish you all a lovely day.